Hi, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your July 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead for um, everything that you can expect to see coming through for you. So I'll be using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. Tropical astrology is also known as Western astrology. So you can watch this if you are an Aquarius, Ascendant, Sun, or Moon. If you're only going to watch one today, I would recommend that you watch your horoscope for your Ascendant sign, otherwise known as your rising sign, because it will be the most accurate for you overall. Generally speaking, your sun sign horoscope will tell you more about your life goals and your career, whereas your moon sign horoscope will pertain more to your living circumstances, property matters, family matters, as well as your emotional health and well being. So, now, Aquarius, let's get into your reading. On the 2nd of July, Mars in Aries in your third house is going to make a square to Pluto in Capricorn in your 12th house, and this will be at 27 degrees. So we actually saw a conjunction between Mars and Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn back in March earlier this year. So themes that you were experiencing around the 3rd of March, or even just the first 1 or 2 weeks of March, may be cropping back up for you again at the moment during the first few days of July. And essentially, squares represent some sort of challenge that we are experiencing, or because we've got Pluto in your 12th house, this could be more of an internal conflict that is occurring for you around this particular point in time. With respect to how this will play out for you, it's important to look at what the 12th house and the 3rd house represent. So, in astrology, the 12th house can represent self sabotaging behaviors, anything that we do as a form of escapism. It also represents the dream realm, our dreams, the spirit realm, divination, and it is also a very creative house. So, lastly, the 12th house is connected to isolation, whether you're actually in isolation, whether that's a lockdown or a secluded place. So the 12th house rules over prisons. And by the way, I'm not saying there's going to be another lockdown. I'm just saying the 12th house represents isolation. It can be an emotional sense of isolation as well. So the 3rd house rules over our mentality, communications. It is also connected to education, as well as our siblings, relatives, friends, and our skills in terms of a mechanical sense. So this square can be presenting some sort of inner conflict where you are experiencing around the first few days of July disturbing dreams, a disturbed sleep pattern, an inability to relax or to rest. Your mind may be racing, you may be experiencing unwanted thoughts, or a deep seated feeling as though something is not quite right. And by the way, this can be an extremely psychological transit. So it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong or that something is going to happen, but you may just be having this feeling like you're a little bit emotionally unsettled. And of course, the 12th house is connected to fears and addictions. So you may have some sort of irrational fear around this time, or maybe like a feeling like something bad is about to happen, but fears are not representative of reality. So if you are experiencing some sort of emotional disturbance or even more of a subconscious disturbance in the way of a disrupted sleep cycle, just know that by about the 5th of July, maybe the 6th or the 7th of July, I would expect this to dissipate. But in terms of the purpose, and by that I mean the spiritual purpose of this transit, it is to direct your attention towards some sort of action that you want to take. So taking action is indicated by Mars and what Mars is doing. So with Mars in your third house, this tells me that if you do feel a bit unsettled around this time, it's something to do with your communications. This could be your actual communications with other people. Maybe it's a feeling of not being quite happy within certain friendships, business relationships, whether that's co-workers or clients, or this could even be to do with your siblings or your relatives. Now, this could also be manifesting as you wanting to learn something new and improve your skill set in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe this transit will be drawing your attention towards a glass half empty mentality. So maybe you're feeling quite pessimistic, or maybe you just have some sort of negative thought cycle or process which you were trying to break, and now you're being aware that you are feeling quite uncomfortable about how you're thinking about certain things. And if you are wanting to pursue a new business idea or write a book or learn something new, what could be holding you back is A, self-sabotaging behavior and fears as seen by Pluto in your 12th house, or B, it could be your concern about what other people may think of you or think of what it is that you want to do. And I'm saying this because Pluto rules over your 10th house, which represents your reputation and your public self. So maybe what you want to learn or what you want to do or what you want to start working on in terms of a project, whether that's a new website, writing an article, writing a book, starting a YouTube channel. Maybe this is centered around not knowing how people are going to perceive you in a public sense. So on the 5th of July, we're going to see Mars enter the sign of Taurus, which means it will be transiting your 4th house, and it will be there until the 20th of August. Wherever Mars goes, this is where we are prompted to take some sort of action. This can be something which we are driven to do by our own ambition or desires, or we may find that we are pushed into taking some action by external circumstances. So the 4th house rules over property, it rules over your family, and it is also connected to your emotional foundation. With Mars in your 4th house, this can see some of you breaking a contract because Mars can break things, or this could see you searching for a new lease or searching for a new place to live. You could be entering into a new contract. Essentially, Mars in your 4th house tells me that this is where you want to take action. So maybe you're getting your ducks in a row before you can execute on your decisions. Nevertheless, with respect to property, this could be to do with construction, because we are talking about Mars here. So maybe you're looking at building a new property. Maybe you're looking at fixing things around the house. Because Mars rules over your 3rd house in astrology, this could see you engineering new technology for your home. Or perhaps some of you will simply be erecting a fence or some kind of boundary line to protect your property, or you could just simply be taking action to try and protect your property in some way, shape, or form. You could just be purchasing new technological equipment to use on your property or land. So this could be, and by technological equipment, I mean like gadgets, anything third housey. So maybe you're buying a lawnmower or a whippersnipper or something that you can use either around the house or to maintain your property. On a different level, I just want to caution you guys against some unfortunate events that can occur, but that are preventable. One would be fires in the home, and I'm saying this because wherever Mars goes, this can represent a challenge or hardship that we need to overcome, and it can also represent accidents occurring. So, accidents in the home are a possibility. Mars rules over fire, so there could be a fire in your home. Obviously, I don't want to freak anyone out. The reason I'm mentioning this is just be careful that you are turning off the stove or the cooktop and not leaving the heater on while you're not in the home. I would probably advise against not using the heater while you're sleeping just for this 6-week period of time. And also, Mars in the fourth house can indicate break-ins and burglaries. So just make sure that you're securing your belongings and locking your windows, doors, etc. And sometimes this can be you breaking into your own home. There was something happened recently where my husband and I locked ourselves out because our indoor cat escaped, and it was so scary. Oh my God. Anyway, we had to break into our own home because, we both rushed out to find our cat. We found him straight away. I was like holding him in my arms. I was in my pajamas. We didn't have our phone or keys or anything. And my husband came out to help me find Franklin. And then he closed the door, but anyway, all I'm saying is you may have to break into your own home. So this doesn't need to be anything scary or dramatic. Lastly, because Mars rules over your third house, this could see you learning about property. So maybe you're educating yourself about the real estate or property market. Maybe you're wanting to become a real estate agent. Maybe you're looking at how to build homes, or maybe you're investigating property management. And moving on to the 13th of July, this is when we're going to see Venus in Gemini in your fifth house, making a trine to Saturn in Aquarius in your first house. Trines are very positive aspects in astrology. They carry the energy of Jupiter. It represents something going well, it represents things being in flow. Jupiter trines, can represent some sort of windfall of abundance, or it can just be things that go so well that it's like clockwork. Sometimes we don't even notice trine energy. Nevertheless, because Saturn is your ruling planet and this trine is being made to your chart ruler in the first house, this can see some of you starting a new romantic relationship, and maybe it's becoming more serious, or you are becoming exclusive within this relationship. Things in your existing relationship can stabilize or be going really well. On a different note, Venus rules over your ninth house, which is Libra. So this could see you planning some kind of vacation, travel trip, and this would be for leisure. Okay, so the fifth house in astrology is connected to vacations, and so some of you may be going on a holiday. Venus will be in Gemini until the 17th or the 18th of July. So maybe you're making plans within that window of time. On a different note, the fifth house is connected to parties, fun, rest and relaxation, or more so like our hobbies and passions. So having enjoyable experiences. So Venus through your fifth house is probably already a really good time for you guys. But then this trine to your chart ruler just indicates kind of like the cherry on top. So on a different level, for those of you who have children, your relationship with your children could be going really well. Maybe there's some sort of breakthrough that you have in your relationship with them. Some of you could be discovering a new talent or hobby or passion. With Venus ruling over your ninth house and your fourth house, this could be connected to foreign cultures, learning a new language, education just in general. So educating yourself on something just for the fun of it. On a different note, this could be to do with gardening or cooking. And lastly, with this transit, the fifth house represents owning your own business. So you could have a new business idea or concept, or come up with a new service that you want to offer or product that you want to sell. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really good time for you with Venus in Gemini. Then on the 17th/18th of July, Venus will enter the sign of Cancer, and it will be there until the 11th of August. So the 11th house rules over health, work, and your daily habits and routines. And wherever Venus goes, this is where we can experience some sort of assistance, things going well, things just easier wherever Venus is, even if it's not like, anything, a noticeable new development. It could just be that you're having a lot more success in these areas, or less problems, especially because the sixth house is connected to conflicts and problems and things being out of balance. Venus is a planet which rules over balance and harmony. So this could actually see you resolving a conflict with another person, or restoring balance into an area of your life where you've felt like things are out of control. On the health front, this can see you experiencing an improvement in your health, or the easing off or the alleviation of some sort of health ailment. On a different note, the sixth house rules over loans, and it is a house that is connected to debts. So someone may help you pay off a loan, especially with Venus ruling over your fourth house. This could be family, or maybe some of it is waived. Venus rules over your ninth house, which is connected to the law. So if there was some sort of fine that you had to pay, or something that you were penalized for, the slate could be wiped clean, or there could be a waiving of said fine or fee or whatever it is. Now, with Venus ruling over your fourth house, this could see a new tenant moving in, and it could be one who you like and who you get along with. And on a different note, this could see you experiencing success in incorporating new daily habits into your routine, especially if these are connected to um, your like what you do around the home, like your daily rhythmic routine in the home, with Venus ruling over the fourth house. All these could be rituals or practices which are of a spiritual or religious nature, with Venus ruling over your ninth house. And of course, some of you may be hiring service people or tradespeople, or the services of a person for property matters, to help you with um, maybe gardening as well, court case matters, or perhaps you're engaging the services of a travel agent, with Venus ruling over your ninth house. Now, on the 28th/29th of July, depending where you live in the world, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in the sign of Aries in your third house. So Jupiter has been in Aries since the 10th of May. And like I said, it's going to be retrograde. It'll be retrograde for 5 months. It will actually retrograde back into the sign of Pisces, and it will re-enter Aries on the 20th of December. So, and it will be there until May 2023. So I like to describe Jupiter retrogrades as the learning curve after we have had the fun experience. So Jupiter direct represents you venturing out into new territory, starting something new, learning about something, or seeing a lot of growth and expansion in the house that it is in. And of course, the planets that it will aspect or conjunct can see a lot of growth and expansion. And then when it's retrograde, all of a sudden we're starting to integrate that knowledge, or we need to backtrack a little bit, or almost like rein ourselves in so that we can understand what we've learned in order to grow further. So, with Jupiter being in your third house, this indicates that you may have started a new communications project. So, this could be connected to, I mean, anything related to communications, whether that is writing a book, writing an article, developing a website or a new app, um, working on a blog, and anything within the realm of journalism would be indicated by the third house. So, if you have started a new communications project, this could see you having to um, upskill and learn more about your subject in order to take things further, or you could be needing the counsel or advice of another person who is more experienced. On a different note, the third house is one of the business houses in astrology. So you could have been um, expanding your business quite rapidly, especially because Jupiter is in Aries and loves being in fire signs, so it moves real quick. And then it's like all of a sudden you need to slow down. This could be connected to financial reasons or something to do with your resources, or maybe even the people that you want to collaborate with. And I'm saying this because Jupiter rules over your second house, which is Pisces. It also rules over your 11th house, which is Sagittarius. Both the second and 11th houses are finance houses or money houses in astrology. And the third house represents friends and small teams. And the 11th house is a business house, and it can represent collaborations as well as the third house. So perhaps taking your business or working in a small team on something to do with communications or podcast or project together, or even just work, could be held back because of other people not being available or not having the skills. So there can just be like this almost like a sense of dissatisfaction that things are no longer moving as quickly as what you wanted them to, in terms of when they can start moving in, at a quick pace, at an Aquarian pace. I would say around Christmas time, once Jupiter re-enters the sign of Aries. And also with the third house ruling over friendships, siblings, relatives, your neighborhood, and like your local community, you could be expanding your network, or you could have been enjoying spending a lot of time with friends or relatives. And with Jupiter retrograde, maybe you just don't have as much time to spend with them. And, that could be a little bit of a dampener. And the third house is also connected to short trips and journeys. So maybe there's some kind of limitation on your ability to go on these short trips and journeys, or you just have less time to explore. And lastly, with this transit, we've got the third house ruling over education, and this can represent formal education in the sense of diplomas, qualifications, and licenses. So you may have enrolled to um, study, let's say, or get your license for something, or receive a diploma or a qualification, and you may have to delay when you do your test or your examination. To be truthful, you may fail at the first attempt, but then Jupiter being direct at the end of the year could see you having another opportunity to be successful. And I'll leave it at that. We'll move on to the last transit. So on the 31st of July, Uranus, the North Node, and Mars will form a conjunction at 18 degrees in the sign of Taurus. Mars will actually be at 17 degrees. Nevertheless, it's important that we analyze it as well in this conjunction because it's so close to Uranus and the North Node. So this will be occurring in your fourth house. Uranus and the North Node only form this conjunction once every 15 to 16 years. So it's a huge deal. And Before I continue, I just want to let you guys know that I will be doing a special live event where I will be covering world predictions for this conjunction. So make sure that you have subscribed to the channel if you are interested in seeing how this will play out at a world level. But for you personally as Aquarians, you're still going to be extremely impacted by this because Uranus is one of your ruling planets. And anytime we have a transit in one of the four angular houses, which is first, fourth, seventh, and 10th, we feel this a lot. So, because this is a new 15-year cycle that is starting, you may see the beginning stages of what's going to unfold over the next 15 years, but you're not going to have the full result on the 31st of July. So, just to recap on the fourth house, it rules over property, land. It does have a connection to vehicles as well, as does the third house, of course. It can also represent family matters in the sense of caring for people that cannot care for themselves. So, this is retirement homes, aged care living, anything to do with infants, and also the pregnancy process. And the fourth house is also connected to border protection, security, boundary lines, protecting land in general, and like your home country, your lineage, your roots, your family, and your emotional foundations as well. So, in terms of what you can add to the collective, this represents an opportunity for you to innovate something new, develop something new, or engineer something new. And I'm saying this because Uranus is connected to communities and groups, science, new inventions and innovations, things that are extremely progressive and futuristic. And it also represents large interconnected systems without a center. And then we've got Mars ruling over engineering and taking action and being bold and brave and courageous in paving the way in uncharted territories. And the North Node represents anything which is new. It's very experimental, just like Uranus. It is a planet which is not a planet, but it is as an energy connected to things which are artificial. So we could be looking at artificial intelligence. Anyway, those are the energies that are involved in this conjunction, and how this can play out for you is that you may be contributing to new developments with property, land, and vehicles. Maybe this is to do with new innovations for technology, for properties, for new vehicles, developing a new type of vehicle. You could be contributing to advancements in how to build homes, how to penetrate the earth, and also this could see you having a sudden download of information when it comes to how you can help the elderly, how you can help newborns or families. Maybe you work in the medical industry or you're in child protection services. You could be contributing to advancements in IVF technology or changing the way that the adoption system works or the fostering system, so fostering children and just family matters in general. Of course, you could be in a career sense or in a vocational sense, working with border protection, boundary lines, security. This could be for your country. This could be for heritage listed lands, Indigenous lands, and bringing some sort of sense of community to sacred places. Now, in terms of how this new technology works, maybe you are creating a system which will allow these communities to thrive. And this could be your own community as well. And on a more personal level, this can see you suddenly wanting to totally change up your living circumstances. Maybe you want to go live somewhere new that you've never lived before. Maybe you want to live in a new type of home. Maybe you've never lived in an apartment and now you want to try that. Or you could be looking at relocating um, to a kind of area or terrain that you have never ever experienced. You could be wanting to build a property. You could be wanting to go and live in a community where you are farming together, sharing the land. Maybe it's some sort of commune, especially because Uranus rules over communities. And we're looking at the sign of Taurus, which is connected um, to the food industry and gardening. And the fourth house is also connected to gardening. So, you could be really having an instrumental effect or impact on the next 15 years because Uranus is your ruling planet. And for many of you, there could be some new discoveries when it comes to your family history, whether that's your ancestry, your roots, your lineage. And obviously, there's a lot of different ways that this can play out. So I'm going to leave it there, Aquarius. I hope that you have enjoyed this horoscope. If you have, please give this video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys in August, but have a great July.